Hello again. In this video, you're going to learn how to use the drawing tools in Google SketchUp, and you're also going to learn how to draw 3D objects and figures. So let's get started. Okay, in this SketchUp video, I am using the template that is in feet and inches. Now you can change that by going to SketchUp, Preferences, and choosing the metric system if you desire. There's more templates below. Try to keep things simple for now. To begin with, SketchUp is separated with 3 different axes to delineate your different dimensions. So we have a blue axis, a green, and a red. And whenever we want to draw a line or any objects, we're going to be using those lines as our reference points. So if I were to draw a line, I would run my line or my mouse parallel to those axes. So the first drawing tool that we'll use is the line tool. The hotkey for it is the letter L for line. And if we click anywhere near Susan, you'll see that we get a green line whenever I run the mouse parallel to the green axis. We get a red one, and we get a blue one. Now let's say if I reorient myself so that the blue axis is coming towards me. And it's a little bit harder to see Susan. If I click back L again, I actually will go back to the same point that I clicked originally. And that's a really powerful concept. We can actually change between any of the navigation tools. I can pan, I can orbit, and I can zoom. And if I click L again, I'll be in the same exact location. This works between any of the drawing tools, tape measure, push, pull, move, rotate. You can use any of those tools and go back to your navigation functions. So I'm going to go ahead and draw a line on the red axis, and I want to make it 4 feet. You'll notice that we have our length here in the bottom right hand corner. So I don't have to move them to the exact length. I can just type it in and it'll go there. Likewise, I can do the same thing on the green axis, and we'll just make a little square, and you'll notice that we get this face, and that's important. This face is actually a separate component or separate part from all of these edges, all the lines that we just drew. And I said edges because SketchUp references those lines or these pieces as edges as soon as they create an object with a face. And it's important that we got this face because we can actually manipulate it. We can create our 3D objects, and we can really begin to create our own little designs. So if I click the letter P, you'll notice we get this stamp looking figure, which is up here. And this is the push-pull tool. So if I click on the face, I can actually begin to add height to the object. And just like the line tool, I just need to type in the distance, and we will get a nice looking cube. Likewise, as our 2D square did, every single one of these faces are separate. So I can click on any of these faces and I can manipulate it. Now if I click it on accident, I can just hit escape and it'll go back to its original position. And maybe I forgot to mention, but spacebar will bring you back to the select tool, which is our little arrow. The next drawing tool is the rectangle tool. And this one works best on the planes or the axes that are most visible or have the most accessibility. In this instance, it is the green and red axis. If I reorient, you'll notice that it's at the same point or origin that we started at. And this one goes along the green and red. And this one goes along the blue and green. So whatever axis is coming towards you, it'll be the other 2 axes, or two other axes which make up the blue and green plane and you can draw the rectangle in. So, oops, forgot, let's draw one. Again, we'll just type it in, 4 feet, comma, 4 feet, and the comma will delineate our length and width. Hit enter, and again, we've got a square, which we can manipulate into a cube. Now, let's move on to the circle tool, and the circle tool is a little bit special. You'll notice that it has a blue ring to it. If I tried to reorient and I hit C again for circle, you'll notice that the color or the location does not change. And the color doesn't change at all. Now that color will delineate the direction that we can move the push-pull tool in. So I'm going to type in 4 feet for a 4-foot radius circle, and I can move the push-pull tool along the blue axis, and only the blue axis. If I move towards where the green axis is coming towards me, we'll have a green circle. And likewise, it only moves along the green axis. And last, we have the red axis, or a red circle. And same thing all over again. So, just a quick recap, we have the line tool. We want to move it along parallel to the dimension that we want to be drawing in. We can type in the measurements. We have the rectangle tool, which works with the surfaces, the surface that has the greatest area or accessibility to work with. And we can always reorient with the navigation tools and any one of those tools to get a better perspective to draw on. The circle tool is different colors depending on whichever axis is coming towards us, or it'll take on the color of whatever axis is coming towards us. I'm not sure what I just said. And last but not least, we have the arc tool. Now I honestly haven't used the arc tool enough or a lot to really know all the different ways you can use it, but I'll introduce it and maybe you can find some uses for it. Same thing as the line tool, we're going to choose 2 points, and these are really just anchor points. So if I reorient in this direction where the blue axis is pointing up and go back to Command J, it's much more easier to draw along the blue axis. Likewise, if I turn in this direction, easier to draw along the green. So the arc or the angle is created after you choose your 2 anchor points. So, and they call it the bulge. Likewise, if we connect those 2 points, we can get a nice little face to it. I'm going to use a line tool because I'm not familiar with the arc tool. And there we go. So this is where SketchUp begins to get really fun. You can draw on faces or objects you already created, and it delineates those faces from the lines that you just drew. And you can really begin to create really awesome pieces from this. Oops, I meant to draw a triangle from this point to this point. And you can have as much fun as you want. So that's it. I hope you learned something. Till next time. Bye-bye.